Yo, what's going on guys, Arekkz here, and welcome to Xenoblade Chronicles 2 for Nintendo Switch. The game launches this week, December 1st, but thanks to the guys over at Nintendo, I've had a chance to jump in a little early, check out the game, and see what it has to offer. So in this video, I thought I'd talk a little bit about my initial impressions, some of the stuff you can get up to early on, and just in general give you a bit of backstory in the event you're wondering whether or not to pick this up, and also whether you can jump in if you've never played the first one. So, if you do enjoy this, then a like would be super appreciated, and be sure to comment down below and let me know what you guys think. Are you a Xenoblade fan? Have you played the first one? And are you looking forward to number 2? Also, for those of you wondering, there will be no story spoilers in this video. The gameplay will largely just be me roaming around, exploring the open lands, fighting random enemy mobs, so you'll be safe to watch this. Now, to begin with, to set the scene, the game follows the main protagonist, a guy named Arekkz, a salvager who embarks on an epic journey to find the promised land of Elysium, alongside his blade and companion, Pyra. The game takes place in the land of Arekkz, which is a vast area built and developed on the back of these giant beings known as Titans, and at the centre of Arekkz stands the World Tree, and it's up there that Elysium is said to exist, the ultimate paradise for humanity. And while Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is, technically speaking, a sequel to the first, this entry in the series features a whole new cast and a new story, so if you have no prior experience or knowledge of the first game, then you can quite happily jump in here and enjoy it as if it was the first. In true RPG fashion, you'll party up with many different characters throughout your journey, but on top of the usual people that typically drop in and out of your team throughout, you'll also have additional companions known as blades. See, in Xenoblade, the combat revolves around this notion of drivers and blades. The main protagonist is a driver, and his companions are blades. These are also your weapons in combat, and your means to pull off a wide variety of special moves. Like previous Xenoblade titles, the game features an active battle system that gives you the freedom to move around in battle and engage enemies whenever you please. However, the actual execution of your moves in battle will require you to be stationary. So combat is more about positioning and repositioning during a fight, whilst also working out what moves to use at any given moment. You have a mixture of auto attacks, specials, arts, and of course moves from your blades as well. Drivers fight on the front lines, whilst also maintaining a connection to their blades, which can further improve during combat, building affinity, and that then allows them to pull off more powerful and special moves. These moves can be comboed or chained with other party members, should they be with you in an encounter, and it's as you begin to build this understanding that combat gets much more in depth. Sure, much like any RPG, things will start off slow, your abilities won't be that exciting, but once you've got a few hours under your belt, things really start to open up. In fact, one of the things that I liked the most about this game was the way in which you can obtain new blades. See, while Pyra is your main companion throughout the story, she's not the only blade you'll have at your disposal. You can get new blades, and they come in many different forms, offering different weapons, abilities, and playstyles. You obtain them by bonding with core crystals, and the blades you get are random, some better than others, some rarer than others, and that component in itself is a lot of fun to pursue. It's like a booster pack or a gacha feeling, where you open it up hoping for something good, and if it comes out as the one you want, you then have an exciting new addition to your team. You can assign multiple blades to your party and swap them in and out during combat. Early on, you'll have access to 2, Pyra and 1 other, but later on that'll open up to 3, giving you a much broader range of options for combat. Of course, underneath all of that, you have a wide array of progression options when leveling up both your characters and your blades. You have different abilities you can unlock and improve, weapons you can buy and upgrade, and plenty of gear to obtain as well. You'll spend a lot of time exploring the world, gathering materials that'll feed back into this process, going on salvage runs to search for treasure, which can of course be sold for money. In fact, selling treasure in Xenoblade is pretty interesting because if you sell things as sets or groups and not individual items, you can often get more as a result. And of course, there are all your typical vendors among the varying towns and outposts that you come to expect. Some of the lands in Xenoblade really are massive, giving you plenty of space to roam around and explore, plenty of monsters to fight should you want to grind XP, and you'll even encounter special named monsters, kind of like world bosses, much stronger than those you'd normally fight roaming around. Early on, you'll probably want to avoid them since you won't stand much of a chance, as I found out pretty quickly. But they are for sure something that you'll come back to much later on. A lot of what you're seeing in the background is taken from early stages of the game, but it's fair to say there is no shortage of stuff to do. This is a game that'll give you many, many hours. I will say that for me, the one thing that really bothered me during my time playing were the voices. Some of the English voices were fine, some suited the characters really well, meanwhile some others were a little bit harder to stomach. Of course, this is a largely subjective topic, and what bothers some people likely won't affect others, but I did find some of them a little out of place for some of the cutscenes. But it is worth noting that the game will have a day one patch, which will also offer the original Japanese voiceover track with subtitles. So if you're someone that would prefer that over the English offering, then fear not, Nintendo has you covered. Aside from that though, I've genuinely had a great time playing the game. I've still got a fair way to go, but being able to jump between handheld and TV mode is making it much easier for me to fit the game into a busy schedule. RPGs and JRPGs are a genre that I rarely have time to play all the way through since they often take so much longer to complete. But for me, Switch is basically offering the perfect solution to that problem. So in summary, if JRPGs are your thing, then you'll have a blast with Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and if you're on the fence, not sure whether you can or should dive in if you haven't played the first, then don't let that stop you. You'll be just fine. But aside from that, that's all I've got for you for the time being. That was a quick look at some Xenoblade Chronicles 2 gameplay, a little bit on my impressions, and a few things to get you up to speed. Again, let me know in the comments down below what you guys think if you're looking forward to the game, and thank you very much for watching. Take it easy, catch you next time, peace out.